Welcome to Pure Experiences live streams. This is a series on Ribhu Gita. We are reading the well-known scripture called Ribhu Gita by Ribhu. I mentioned in my last live stream, the first part of the stream, that Ribhu Gita is about Shiva. And this word Shiv is going to invoke a lot of connotations, a lot of meanings in your mind. You will find this word very mysterious. It is very ambiguous. It has many meanings, and ranging from the self that you are to the highest God or a deity or a yogi or a master. There are many meanings of this word Shiv. So I was saying this, that probably I'll give you a view of how the image of the Shiv evolved in the history. I could not find a lot of things, but I found some images on Wikipedia. So let's go and see some of that stuff. This is the current form of Shiv as it appears in temples, in paintings and calendars, all kinds of things. And this is the Shiva, the yogi, the Avdhut yogi, or the Aghori yogi, the sadhu, and so on. And there are snakes, and there is trident, and there are 4 hands, and all those symbology is here that shows this very, I think, relatively modern incarnation of Shiva. But there are more pictures like this one. It is very old, very old. I am not going to guess the dates here, and I do not trust the dates given by other people. We can say that it's not well known when these things happened. This is a sculpture of Shiva in Elephanta caves near Maharashtra. So it does not show you the more popular image of the Shiv. There are 2 more heads here, which some people will say are Brahma and Vishnu. And he looks like a very normal person here. All the ornaments and the crown on top and jewelry, just like any other god. Elephanta caves near Mumbai. And here is another statue of Shiv, which is a probably older form of the current image that we saw. Don't know about the dates and whatever, from where it is. But look at the face. There is no beard, not clean shaved either. But there is a snake. And there is somebody on the top, which is the river Ganga, hopefully. This is a seal discovered in the Indus Valley, where some people say that this figure, which is meditating or sitting in a lotus posture, is Shiv. But I have doubts about this, because there are no 4 arms. The 4 arms are a kind of characteristic of Shiv. If you do not see 4 arms, that means it's some other deity, some other god. So this is called Pashupatinath. That means god of the animals, and you can see many animals here around him. So people say that this is Shiv. There are doubts about it. This is another 2nd century carving it is said it is Shiv, and you can see the forearm, you can see the trident, but very, very different person here. Almost looks like a monk with the thread going around his chest and all. This is coins of the Kushan Empire, and he looks like a warrior here. He has the battle armor and all. So this on the right side you will find something more resembling today's image of the Shiv, and he has the trident. He has his vehicle behind him, the bull, but two hands are missing, no four hands, and he has a pash in his hand instead of the usual stuff that he carries. The pash means the rope that is used to tie animals. It's a very different picture here, and he is not wearing his lion skin. He is in ordinary clothes. This one looks like a recent one, and it is from South Indian temple. And this is very special because the Shiv here is seen as coming out of Shivlingam. This middle big pillar is the lingam. So this is very, very interesting because these kind of pictures are very rare. These kind of sculptures are rare, and there are two more deities around him, the Brahma and Vishnu. They are also shown, and he looks very handsome here. There are no snakes, there is no river coming out of his head, and there are no animals around him. So it looks like something changed here, and this is South India. So he looks like a king in this picture. Very beautiful image. This one is from Khajuraho. So very old sculpture of Shiv in his half man, half woman avatar. So you can see the four arms here and the trident, which shows that he is indeed Shiv, but is missing all other stuff from his. No snakes, no rivers, but there is bull. A tiny bull is here. And this is very, very modern. This depiction is by Raja Ravi Verma, who popularized the modern images of gods and goddesses in India by painting them realistically instead of the stylistic images that are very, very old. So here he looks like a family man, but has four hands and his newborn son, the Ganesh. And there is again Brahma and Vishnu around him. Plus, I don't know why Ganesh is already here sitting on the pillar there. And this is probably some other goddess, Saraswati or somebody. And he looks like a very, very decent man here. Again, no snakes. Not sitting on the lion or tiger. So very different image. But he has beard and all that. It's a beautiful picture again. And this is, as you know, the latest, I can say. And this is very big statue, probably world record holder statue of the Shiv, and very modern depiction here with snake and sitting in a meditative state, not like the old Shiv. This is again a South Indian temple, and you will find that highly stylistic depiction of Shiv here very ornamental, and you won't be able to tell who is Shiv and who is Vishnu here. And but Brahma you can tell by his four heads or three heads. You can see Brahma here, but these two figures almost similar. So you can distinguish the Shiv because he is holding trident. Otherwise, you won't be able to. An ordinary person won't be able to say that this is Shiv. So you can see how things have changed during history, how the Shiv is depicted in a very, very different ways throughout the history. This is again some probably few 100-year-old painting. I don't know. This is again a different depiction with the headgear and different kinds of weapons in his hands. This is the Bhairav avatar of Shiv, which is more popular among tantrics. People do not worship these things. They are almost extinct now. And this is the modern one, very, very Roman kind of style. And this is in Haridwar. This is in Rishikesh, probably somewhere. Some more depictions here, and this is the famous Nataraj form of Shiv, where he is depicted as a dancer. And obviously there is no trident, there are no snakes here, somewhere, nowhere, and he is standing on the lotus. So he is also called Shiv for some reason, you see. Shivlingam, because why not? It is a form of Shiv, but very, very enigmatic form. This middle ellipsoid figure is the lingam. So I'm not going to go into details of why Shiv became like this, but this is very popular instrument or yantra among the occultist and people on the tantra path. So, but it is also worshipped by ordinary people. All they do not know why it is Shiv. They worship it. This is very interesting. It looks like an ordinary businessman or something here. This is from Cambodia, 10th century, like they say. So when the Shiv traveled, he changed forms. And this is very interesting because some of the forms of Buddhism, they adopted Shiv also, just like they adopted Indra and Varun and Agni and Vishnu and all those deities from ancient India. So it is said that this is the Shiv as being worshipped or as depicted in Japan. Will be difficult to identify him. This is again from Japan. Now he is in the fierce form, the Rudra form. But from the clothing, etc., you can say that, and the jewelry, etc., you can say that coming from India. But he has a sword instead of trident. It's amazing. And the two hands are missing again. Nataraj statue. So that was kind of very interesting to see that how the image of the Shiv got morphed during so many centuries, and somehow became this modern version of the yogi, which is most popular nowadays. People do not depict him like a king or prince and anymore. This has overtaken that. Kalela is asking, what do three lines mean? Okay, probably she is asking about this lingam. What are these three lines? Well, they are a form of decoration on the forehead of priests, forehead of deities, and so on, the practitioners. They put this kind of decoration on their foreheads made up of this red powder and white powder of the rice or something like that. So they have decorated the forehead of lingam also here. So there is our brief journey into the forms of Shiv. And when I say Shiv while reading Ribhu Gita, it is none of these. None of these. You should not even imagine that I am talking about, or the Ribhu here is talking about a deity in one of these many forms, dozens of forms, 20, 30 forms. Because the forms kept changing and people kept calling these forms as Shiv for some reason. It is, very complicated culture here. It is not straightforward. It is not that one deity will be called with only one name and then it is fixed forever. No. Keeps changing. They keep changing forms and their avatars keep arriving. And they are also somehow called Shiv. And people who worship Shiv, they also assume the name of Shiv. For example, Shankaracharya. Shankar is name of Shiv. So it may happen in future that somebody will make a statue of him and start calling him Shiv, start worshipping. And now there is one more form. So this is what happened. Then who is the real Shiv then? Who is the Shiv that Ribhu is mentioning here? And just like I said, it is you. You are the Shiv. Your essence is the Shiv. That is the proper meaning of Shiv. Even if it is depicted in many forms, starting from the lingam to the yogi covered with snakes and ashes. Whenever you say Shiv, you are referring to yourself. If you do not know Shiv like this, then you will not understand Ribhu Gita or any other material in Shaivism, for example, or even in Advaita, where the Shiv is now incorporated. Adjustments have been made to incorporate Shiv as Brahman, just like many other buzzwords were incorporated into Vedanta. For example, Ishwar, Narayan, and all these different streams were merged into Advaita as the time passed, and the old was discarded. Many things that appear in Rig Veda or the ancient Upanishads, some of them are missing now from Advaita. So know the Shiv. It is not a deity. It's not a god. It is not a tantric yantra. It is not the dancing Natraj. No, you are the Shiv. If you know yourself, you will understand all these scriptures. Otherwise not. Your own essence, the pure consciousness, nothingness that is witnessing its own play, its own modulations, its own vibrations, ripples. It's Shiv. And that is same as Brahma. That is same as Atman. That is same as you. I am Shiv. Okay, Mukul is saying one meaning of Shiv, that who is not. Yes, Shiv means something which is not here. Where is he? He cannot be seen. Pure emptiness, pure nothingness. So interestingly, I was showing the pictures from Wikipedia, and they define Shiv. I mean, I made this mistake of reading Wikipedia. It is not the most authentic source of information on Indian philosophies and Indian cultures. So they define Shiv as the auspicious one. So yes, why not? You see, the words assume many meanings in as the time passes and the cultures change. So my opinion is very controversial, but I like it. I say that the Shiv comes from the Shav. Shav means a dead body, which means that which is no more, that is Shav. You see, whenever you see va anywhere in a Sanskrit word, it almost always it is denoting to absence of something. So you can define Shiva as auspicious one or whatever you say. It's okay, it's fine. But for a spiritual seeker, we choose a word which is more closer to our own experience, our own direct experience. And that is why I chose this meaning. And it is not a negative, it is not something derogatory or something. Shiv means me, myself. It is the ground of all existence. The auspicious, if you call something auspicious, you will get something which is inauspicious. Like Ribhu himself says in the Ribhu Gita that, well, don't try to call it auspicious or inauspicious. It is oneness, it is non-dual. How can non-dual be auspicious? Because it cannot be inauspicious. So I agree fully. So I don't know who is editing Wikipedia and all, but I am pretty sure that these people are not seekers. Probably they are scholars. They have read a few books here and there. They are not seekers. But I found the pictures very interesting at one place, so I gave you this short introduction. And I don't want to tell you that, look, these are Shivs. No. I've shown you all these pictures so that you know what is not Shiv. These pictures are not Shiv. This is only for seeker, you see. The devotee, the bhakta or the scholar or whatever, historian, they can keep calling whatever they want as Shiv, you see. It's a free country. A seeker should know what is Shiv. Know yourself to know the Shiv. And then these texts like Ribhu Gita, Avdut Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and Ved, they will start making sense to you. Otherwise not. Otherwise not. If somebody says Shivoham and you picture yourself as covered in snakes and ashes of cemetery and sitting in a big mountain with a son who is half elephant, half man. No, I am not that. Obviously. I am not Shiv of that kind. That means you have made a mistake. That means you do not know who you are. And that means you are lost in the esoteric symbolism. There is no such man like as depicted here in the pictures. Nobody exists like this. It is a symbol. It is an icon. You see, made for some other purpose by some other lost culture of seekers, monks, devotees of a form of Shiv. It is actually alive in the form of Shaivism nowadays, but the Shaivism borrows a lot from Vedanta and other philosophies. So there is no such thing as a pure branch of philosophy in India, in my opinion. So you need to study them all in order to find what they are saying. It is a big amalgamation, it is a big blend of many, many ideas. Sometimes in one century, one idea takes precedence, it becomes popular, and everybody starts chanting that thing. I am Brahman, I am Brahman. And next century, it is I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Next century, oh, it's all gone and Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Next century, well, bring back everything old. And you say, that is going on since 10,000 years in India. At least 10,000 years. But fortunately, the essence is same. The essence is non-duality. So we strip off everything that is cultural and that is time dependent. That is the job of a seeker, to go for the essence, to go for the truth. And then we find the essence is non-duality. Then I find that whatever I was searching is not in the idols, sculptures, pictures, scriptures. It's not there. It is here and now. I am that non-dual self. And it takes 5 minutes. Know that you are not any experience. You are not any experience. What remains is you. The experiencer, which is nothingness, which is emptiness, is the Shiv, is the Brahman, is eternal, is infinite. And yes, this self deserves a lot of titles, but we strip the self off of these big titles. We want everything pure. Once you get the purity, then you can do the embellishing. You can do the ornamentation, which has happened so many times in past. There are hundreds of forms of myself, not to be worshipped, but they must be celebrated. They are a celebration of knowing what I am. Those who love those forms, please go ahead and worship. Do not forget what you are. Mukul is saying, mythology concept for that which cannot be conceptualized. Yes, I mean, some things were encoded in mythology, some things were encoded in these statues and all. You see, they are not meaningless. They are not made by stupid people. They were very, very wise people. And when I say embellishment, ornamentation, it is not really just for beauty. there is a meaning in the four hands. There is a meaning in all the weapons that he carries. There is a meaning in even the tiniest of the carving that appears in these images. But that is, something, a subject matter for those who are interested in that kind of symbolism, iconography, anthropomorphization, personification of deities and the concepts. And go ahead and dig it. Actually, it is very interesting. What we are interested in, who am I? So we start with, yesterday we saw a few of the verses, and Ribhu is demolishing. That is what we like. We do not like to pile up things. We want to make it simpler, and that is more beautiful for a seeker. So he is talking about the greatness of Videha Mukta. Now Videha Mukta means somebody who is so free that he has dropped the body forever. He does not appear as a body in any of the worlds. Videha means without body. Mukta is free, freedom, liberated. The one who is liberated and has no body. So it is a very interesting concept. Although you have never seen such a person. It is not possible to see it actually. So it will remain a concept for many. So let us see what Ribhu is saying about it. Number 12, with all objective knowledge banished, with no trace of thought or nescience, with all the three states of waking, dream and sleep wiped out, with all thought of death and birth abolished, and ever established in the spontaneous blissful state of Brahman self. The condition of the Videha Mukta cannot be conceived and much less expressed in words. So I agree with this thing. We can imagine these things, but we cannot know it unless we encounter this state of Videha Mukta, which will happen someday if you continue on the path of liberation. If you continue on a spiritual path, the mind will change into a formless state. You will say, no, the mind is formless right now also. No, that is not really formless. There are thoughts, there are emotions, there are feelings, sensations, there is perception, and there is body, and there is world. This whole is mind. It is also called the Chitta. Unfortunately, there is no separate word for Chitta in English. So we say mind, and people confuse it with the things that are going on in the head. So no, that is not the mind. For a spiritual seeker, the mind has a greater meaning. All experience is mind. Or we say all experience is being created by mind. That includes the worlds, many universes. That includes the universal mind. That includes the universal memory. And also includes the individual memory, individual mind. So what happens in case of the Videha Mukta is that individual mind is dropped and individual bodies are dropped. With the body goes the experience of the worlds. No more solid worlds. So it is not really destruction. It is emancipation. It is freedom from these limited forms and limited worlds, limited experiences. Now the Videha Mukta goes back into the potential form from where it came. And some people will say, no, it is dissolution. There is nothing there. Yes, it is almost nothing. That is why I said, you see, the words cannot explain it. And just like he says, Videha Mukta cannot be conceived. This condition cannot be conceived because we do not have any experience to back our words, do we? We will never know. So what I do is I try to explain it in our experience. Sometimes Videha Mukta, it is almost like somebody who is asleep. There is no body, there is no world, there are no thoughts, there is no knowledge, and there is no ignorance. Like he's saying, no trace of thought or nescience. Nescience is ignorance. There is nothing in deep sleep. But is there nothing? Because you see, the whole person, the whole universe arises as soon as the state of the sleep is over. What was there? I am talking about the first person view here. What was there? It was a Videha existence. It was a bodiless, worldless, thoughtless, mindless existence. That is pure potentiality. That is Brahman itself. That is how the Brahman is. We come very close to the Shiva or Brahman or Videha Mukta state. So the only difference between Videha Mukta and Deha Mukta or ordinary person is that the ordinary person rises from sleep. The worlds start appearing, the bodies appear, the thoughts and desires they appear, and the action starts, the perception starts. For Videha Mukta this does not happen. You can call it the eternal sleep if you want. Now what is the use of this state? The ego will never understand this. there are infinite number of useless things in existence. The ego understands only that which helps in its survival as a human body. That's all this tiny mind understands. So I'm not expecting anybody to understand here, and I don't even understand myself because I have little tiny insight into what it can be. So number 13, the continued repetition of I am self Brahman constitutes the soul mantra japa, leading to mukti or liberation. All other mantra japas connected with diverse gods should be firmly eschewed as they aim at mundane objectives other than the self. All other mantra japas always entangle one inextricably in the bondage of worldly enjoyments. Now try to tell this to practitioners of mantra japa. They won't believe it. Then you add the word, name there. Oh, it was said by Ribhu, and now they want to believe it. But they won't be able to give up all their practices because there is an intense desire to achieve something by chanting these mantras connected to diverse gods and goddesses. They cannot give it up. What do you call such a state? What do you call such a mind which cannot give up something? Which cannot be open to higher possibility? What do you call it? A bound mind, a limited mind. That is why he is saying that he is using these words. It will entangle you in the bondage of worldly enjoyments. These all worships and mantras, their sole purpose is desire fulfillment. It is not liberation. Liberation is liberation from desires. Not wanting is liberation. Not doing is liberation. Why? Because my nature is that. I am the witness of all desires. I am the witness of all actions. I am the witness of all consequences of all actions. I am the witness of all the mantras. I am the witness of all gods and goddesses. This is my nature. And I am liberated already. Why would I even want liberation when I am already liberated? So he is saying, well, repeat that I am the self-Brahman. If you're so fond of repeating things, repeat this. And this will take you to liberation. But you see, do not do it mechanically. Mechanically repeating like a parrot or a tape in a loop, playing in a loop. I am the self-Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Nothing will happen. No liberation will be seen. It is a mental activity, mindless activity. So whenever he says the continued repetition, it means a continuous abidance in this knowledge that I am Brahman. I am the self. Or here, the writer has invented new terminology here, the translator's terminology. I am the self-Brahman. Because why? You will find other descriptions of the Brahman and then it becomes complicated. And then therefore, he has come up with a very good idea to append prefix self in front of all these words, you see, that causes less confusion. So I liked it. So self-Brahman, self-Ishwar, self-Shiva, self-Atman, all are one, all are me. So do not repeat it mindlessly. Abide in this knowledge that I am self-Brahman. How are you going to abide in it if you do not know it? And therefore, all practices they start with self-realization. Realize who you are. It takes 5 minutes. You are not any of the experience. Count the experiences, discard the experiences. The remaining one is you, the experiencer of all the experiences. Now abide in this knowledge. This is already liberation. The world is an experience, the body is an experience, the mind is an experience, the desires are experiences. Whatever you're doing, your actions, What you think you are, the person, the individual, they are all experiences. Other people are experiences. Your guru is an experience. All these idols that I'm showing here, all these figurines, what are they? Some or other kind of experiences. It's not Shiva. Don't worry about it. Even if somebody says, even if the Wikipedia says the auspicious Shiva, no, not any experience. Shiva is not an experience. It is the ground of all experiences. I am that. So, this is the self-abidance. And he's saying, well, give up all these, all other stupid projects that are going on. They are only for worldly enjoyments, not going to liberate you. Those who want worldly enjoyments, will get them directly then. Why are you troubling all these gods and goddesses and Shiva and Parvati? Satchit Anand, the self Shiva and his worship. So let us see what he says on this topic. On the eternal and infinite screen of Satchit Anand, self Shiva, by his own power, Shakti is projected as the moving shadow picture of the universe in manifestation, and into that again it is absorbed in dissolution. All luminaries like sun, moon, fire, stars and lightning derive their luminosity as a gracious gift from the Shakti, inherent in that screen of self Shiva only. Though bright in themselves, they can only obscure and cannot reveal the Shiva screen which they cover up. So something important here. What are these images then? What are these appearances that appear? So he is saying the self, by his own power, projects these moving shadows which we see as the universes, which we see as the manifestation. And yes, they are just shadows, they are just ripples in the pond. All that exists is the pond. Ripples exist only as a change in the pond. And because they are changing, they change into nothingness one day. They are changing, that is why we see impermanence. Impermanence is the nature of all experience. Whatever we are seeing is also known as the Shakti. The Shakti itself means energy or power. The Shakti itself, herself, is the manifestation, also known as Maya. So then the Shakti became the wife of Shiva. You see, that's why I have shown this half man and half woman figure. Let's go back there, it's pretty interesting. Okay, here is the picture of half Shiva and half Shakti. So it is a symbol of unity, and it shows that Shakti is not different from Shiv. Shakti is not something which exists apart from Shiv. That is why they have combined that thing into one. This is the Ardhanarishwar form of Shiv, and people worship it also instead of understanding what this picture depicts. So let's go back to the Ribhu Gita. It's because it is born, it will be dissolved. Because it appeared, it will disappear. And then he is saying that these forms, they do nothing but cover up. They cover up the real nature of the Shiv. The Shakti covers up the Shiv. The screen disappears and the picture appears. And that is why we do not see the Shiv. We see only the manifestations. or in proper Advaita words, the Nirgun is invisible and is the truth. The Sagun is visible and is not the truth. That is how that is how we descend into darkness. That is how we descend into ignorance, because we cannot see that the unseen one is my nature, and we assume that whatever we can see is the truth, which is a blind belief, which is an assumption, which is the ignorance. And all we do on the path of knowledge, we destroy this ignorance. We uncover that which has been covered up. When we uncover it, when we uncover the Shiv, very interestingly, we do not see anything. But the illusion is gone. The ignorance is gone. There is nothing to know. What is there to know in myself? I am the self. That is all there is to know. But whatever knowledge you gathered up, you accumulated, which is not really knowledge, it is ignorance, a pile of ignorance, that is gone. That is the end of path of knowledge. That is the end of knowledge itself. There is nothing to know in Shiva. It is something very, very simple, has no qualities. It is Nirgun. Nothing can be known through mind. But that is not a big deal, because I am that. I cannot be myself by knowing myself. I can be myself only by being myself. So nothing is really lost actually. It is given up. The ignorance is given up. The burden of the ignorance is dropped. That is all that happens. You will, when you are focused on the Sagun, on the Maya, on the Shakti, you will find that you are an impermanent, ephemeral form, tiny particle of dust floating on the mercy of natural powers. You are small, you are limited, you are miserable, you are suffering. That is all you will see when you look at this. It is helplessness. It is lost. It is eternally lost in the illusory vibrations of itself. All you need to do is turn on the other side. Look on the other side, from where all these projections are coming. And that is stable, that is unchanging, eternal, infinite, blissful. And that is me. It is very, very simple. From duality to non-duality. So he is saying that Shiva must be meditated upon and realized to be the self by making the restless mind stay still and alert after it has been adequately restrained and completely prevented from the pursuit of sense objects, namely the shadow pictures on the screen of the self. All shadow pictures removed, what remains is pure awareness, the spotlessly effulgent screen. Thus, Shiva reveals himself spontaneously as the soul, eternal Satchitananda himself, the very essence of the nature of the worshipper. Become the Shiva. Do not worship these images. That is stupidity. Become that which you are searching. You are the one who is searching. You are searching for yourself. The one who is searching is the object of the search. Become that. That is what he is saying. All you need to do is not do that which is taking you away from your real nature. It is very, very simple. Where are you going to find yourself? Now, good metaphor is, how will you come back home? If you're lost somewhere, you want to go home. How are you going to come back home? By not going to some other place, by returning. It is very, very simple. What are people doing? They are trying to find something in these shadow pictures. They are trying to find themselves. In case of seekers, and in case of ordinary people, they are trying to find happiness, meaning, purpose away from their home. A guru is the one who calls you back to your home. And you find that you never left actually. You always at home. You got kind of mesmerized by this virtual reality which is covering your eyes. Just take it off. And he says that this must be done by restraining the mind, because mind has this habitual, compulsive, impulsive tendency to run after whatever it sees, whatever the senses are presenting. It wants that. It wants to be there. Probably it is understandable, because it's a new experience for many, many jivas, many individual souls. It's a very, very new experience. When I see people hankering after worldly things, like pieces of metal or shiny stones or objects or even other people, and they're trying to show how big they are. I'm bigger than you, I'm superior than you, and I find all this kind of stupidity going on, and I realized that I was one of them. But now I understand completely why that must be the case. It is very, very new experience, and they want to enjoy it. They want to enjoy it like there is no tomorrow. There is some kind of latent knowledge there that is not going to last. So let me drink the juices of Maya. Let me devour it as much as I can. This is the greed of the mind. It is manifested in all our activities, the human activities. They are all coming from the greed to accumulate more and more and more. It is because somehow the mind knows that it's not going to last. Somehow it has this kind of tendency there. Laila is saying, are they new souls? Actually, yes, that is, now I'm telling you my own personal opinion here. Yes, I can see into the eyes, the dazed eyes of a newcomer in this world. So they are engaged totally in the world. You tell them the name of the scripture and they get bored instantly. They fall asleep as soon as you start talking about spirituality. They don't even want any kind of knowledge, actually. Any kind of knowledge. Even the worldly knowledge they do not want. What do they want? Fairy tales. They want to be deluded. They want to live in their own imaginary castles somewhere. Why are politicians so popular? Because they lie all the time. They deceive you all the time. That's why they are popular. Why are movies popular? Why are dramas and songs popular? Storybooks very popular. Because they take you into even a deeper Maya. Even more falsehood. And a sane person would, think, why should I do that? Why should I do that? And now you can understand that these souls, or you can say the causal bodies, you say proper word for the soul is the bundle of tendencies, the non-physical memory of an individual. Why do they do that? Because they have never done that. It is a new thing for them. They just popped up into existence, and now they are engulfed by this Maya, this phantasm, this smoke and mirror show that they themselves are projecting, isn't it? It's their own projection. but they want it badly, so badly that they are ready to suffer for it. They come here many, many times, thousands of births. And the only reason I can, find is that it is a very, very new thing for them. That is why. Something is new for the mind, well, the mind is instantly attracted to it, never seen before. So you see, never try to pull out such a person from the matrix they are enjoying. Never try to pull them out. They do not like it. They do not like spirituality. They do not like scriptures. They do not like Ribhu Gita. Even the concept of liberation is disgusting for them. So if you try to give knowledge to such a person, it can cause damage to them actually instead of helping them. They will become aimless, goalless, egoless. All kinds of afflictions will corrupt their minds. They will get depressed and broken. So don't do that. These are the new souls, according to me. Realizing what causes some to lose interest. Because I have a theory about that also. Boredom. It becomes old very quickly, actually. If the intellect matures, which will happen in a human being, a human life, is when the possibility of liberation opens up. That opens up because the intellect matures enough, and there are a few thousand lifetimes of experiences, and you will find that it repeats. It is so boring. It is like watching the same movie every day, this worldly experience. Now you will understand that, oh no, I'm trapped in some other, this place. I want to get out of this place. I want either some other experience, or I don't want the experience. This is how you lose interest from the world. And the other very well-known reason is suffering. This kind of repetitive existence is going to cause suffering sooner or later. You know that the fulfillment of desires does not produce happiness. You will know it very, very soon. You will know that there is nothing substantial in the world. And then there is death. Whatever you accumulate, whatever you enjoy, whatever you gained, whatever you experienced, all gone at the time of death. So these reasons, boredom, repetition, suffering, death, which is a collective word for ignorance, isn't it? It's ignorance manifested that causes to lose, that destroys one's interest and this infatuation with the Maya. It is a very natural process. I call it ripening. Ripening means actually maturing of the intellect. I do not mature. I am the Shiva. I am actually the highest. I am the ultimate. I never fall, so I never rise. But the mind matures. The mind, starts anew, like a newborn baby, matures and then loses interest in all these shadow pictures. That is liberation. You don't need to force it. You don't need to impose it on everybody, convert everybody into spiritual seeker. Not possible. Not possible. Why is everybody not enlightened in this world? Not possible. Just like all the leaves in the forest are not green. Variety is the essence of existence. So, realizing I lost interest at a young age, but kept on because I did not know there was another way of living. Yes, that is the telltale sign of an old soul, like they call it in the New Age spirituality, or a mature intellect, individual who is ready for liberation. That the signs they show up in the young age. If they do not show up in some form in the young age, then there is very, very small possibility that such a person will turn into a spiritual seeker. And I am not generalizing, I am talking from my experience. So whomever I met as a seeker, because I meet many people actually. I know many people because of my these adventures in YouTube and podcasting and all. Many people contact me, and I see a common thread in their story, that the seeds of spirituality appeared in their minds since childhood. Nobody told them. Nobody told them to seek. Nobody told them the truth. Nobody. Actually, your society is going to do the exactly opposite of it, isn't it? They brainwash you into all kind of crap. That is what they do. They are ignorant, and they turn you into an ignorant, violent, and stupid person who thinks he is a body and is superior from other bodies and needs to accumulate all kinds of stuff and achieve something and die. That is the height of stupidity. We are conditioned, we are indoctrined in this kind of stupidity. So I have seen that if there is no seed in you, if you are not born with the seed of spirituality, the society ensures that you die an ignorant person. The society ensures this. Human ignorance and collective ignorance ensures that if you have the seeds, if you have the interest which is inborn in your blood, then then nothing can divert you, nothing can distract you. Actually, you can live in society. It's not a very bad place, you see. If you ignore the ignorance, it's okay, because you find the guru also in the society. You find the knowledge also in the society, you see. Although it is very rare, you find the scriptures like Ribhu Gita. If you are very lucky, you come across this kind of writing, or you come across a video, or a satsang, or your friend who is already a seeker, and that can light the lamp of seeking in you, just like one lamp lights the other lamp. That can start the fire in you, and then you are on a proper path within days, and then you progress by leaps and bounds. Now, once a seeker, forever a seeker, cannot go back to worldly existence. Once a mind becomes intelligent, cannot become stupid again. So that is, my own interpretation of what really happens here. Yes, you can call them old souls, because you see, how come they have the tendencies of seeking since childhood? There are some very, very talented people here, extraordinary people who are born with powers, who are born with knowledge, who are born awakened. Shankaracharya was one of them, you see, founder of Advaita Vedanta, as the modern Vedanta. Modern means almost 2000 years old. So, and there are many examples. Kabir is an example. Guru Gobind Singh, an example. Many, actually, there are worldwide, such people are found in every corner of the world, from Japan, China, India to Africa to Europe and US. I don't know about US, it's kind of relatively new, but the tribal of US, the indigenous people of North and South America, they show this kind of maturity. So it is very easy. It is very easy. If you have the seed, very easy. Restrain the mind, restless mind, turn inwards, and you will know yourself. It should not take more than 5 minutes. So let me see, it's 1 hour. So before we go to Jeevan Mukta, which is the one who is free while in the body, I'll toggle to the Ribhu Gita proper. We were here somewhere, you see. Just to have a variety on the plate. That's the essence of Ribhu Gita. It is highly customized for the modern seeker. And this one is more raw, the Ribhu Gita itself. Mostly word to word translation, I think, here. No attempt has been made to interpret anything here. So I was, reading this thing yesterday. If there is bondage, there is liberation. In the absence of bondage, there is no liberation. If there is death, there is birth. In the absence of birth, there is no death either. So what he is telling Ribhu in these verses is deconstructing the duality. So people will ask, am I bound? Am I liberated? What should I do to get liberation? Well, these are all dual terms. And in every one of these verses in this chapter, Ribhu is saying that no, 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 no. Don't try to use dual words to describe your condition. You are non-dual. So why are you saying that I am bound? Why are you saying that I need to be liberated? There are no such things. Well, the mind is bound, mind will be liberated. The body is bound, the body will be liberated. The world is bound, the world. Because these things exist in duality. Birth happens for the body, so death will happen for the body. Something equivalent will happen for the mind and the jiva. And there is nothing like this for you. It's not, the duality does not apply to you. He is saying again and again and again. He says, if there is you, there is I. If there is this, there is that. If all these things are absent, then nothing can be said. Do not try to say that I am that. And what is this then? You see, if this will happen to many seekers, that they are told, you are the Brahman, you are that. And then they will say, then what is this Maya? What is this world? What is this universe, the body and all? Well, that means the Guru failed to tell the full truth. You are both this and that, and you are neither this and nor that. This should be the long form of Tattvamasi. This is the long form. He is saying, if it is there, implies something not being there. It is not there implies something not being there. I think there is translation error again. If there is an effect, there is some cause. If there is absence of effect, there is no cause. So if I say that I am here, I am there, then we should not think of something which is not there. If I say I am uncaused, then you should not think that there is something which is caused. That is all he is saying. Let the duality remain in duality. So we read this thing also yesterday, that if there is a concept of duality, then there is a concept of non-duality. The non-duality is meaningful only when the duality is there. Otherwise, it is also not there. There is no meaning in this world, non-duality also. There is no interior, there is no exterior. If there is no interior, if there is an interior, there surely is an exterior. If there is no interior, there is also no exterior. If there be a concept of completeness, it implies something of incompleteness. What does it mean? What kind of interior or exterior he is talking? You see, some people, they think that the world is happening inside me. The universe appears inside me. And there are some people who think that the universe is outside me. It is something other than me. They draw an imaginary boundary. So Ribhu is saying probably here, and look, there is nothing inside. And there is nothing that is outside. This wholeness, this completeness has no interior and exterior. It is all here and now. If you draw imaginary boundaries, that means you are in duality. You have not understood the concept of non-duality. So again he says that if somebody says that there is completeness, it implies incompleteness. So it also is a translation for perfection and imperfection, you see. Some people say everything is perfect, including the imperfection that appears in here. So some people say that no, I am that which is perfect, that which is imperfect, I am not. And he's saying, well, these are only concepts. The perfection appears only when there is imperfection. So I am complete and I am also incomplete, and I am not both. That stops the mind from going into duality. If there is a little that can be thought of, it becomes all in no time. If there is not a little, nothing whatsoever of anything at any time, nothing arises. This is very cryptic, isn't it? What does it mean? So you start from the backward, you see. If there is not a little, nothing whatsoever of anything at any time, nothing arises. So if you say, oh, this is Brahma, this is me, this is that, then all kinds of add-ons will be added there. This is also me, that is also me. But if you do not think of anything, then nothing is included there. Nothing arises. So probably that's what he means. It becomes all in no time. Therefore, all this does not exist in the least at any time. Neither you nor I, neither this nor that. There being only Brahman alone, be of the certitude that there is no non-self. So he says, not the little, not the all, nothing at all. In no time has existed. But is it nothingness? Is it non-existence? No. It is the Brahman, me. There is nothing here which is not non-self. I'm going to skip a few because you see, you got the taste of what he's saying. And there is no mind to think, I am the Supreme Brahman. This universe is only Brahman alone. You are also only Brahman. So in the quotes, he is giving us very popular sayings. And he says that, who thinks these things? Not the Brahman. The Brahman does not think anything. There is no mind there to think these things. So these statements, they only appear. It is not being said by myself. Self says nothing. It does not even say I am Brahman or I am this or I am that. It does not say that. Simply saying is not going to make you realize. Otherwise, it was very easy. Like you say your name and you become your name, isn't it? It is very easy. What do you need to do to call yourself something? Nothing. Just call yourself something. But the Brahman is not like this. Cannot call yourself Brahman, and because this thing which is thinking is not present, it is not there. It is an illusion itself. So it is very, very tricky actually. It's very tricky because without mind you will not know all these things. With mind also you will not know all those things. So you need to rise beyond the mind. You need to rise above it, above the intellect. Then you will find that there's nothing to say, nothing to know. Just be what you are. I am consciousness and there is no non-self. Be of this certitude. Thus, in brief, the definition of the self has been told to you. So he was describing the self, and he is describing the non-dual self actually. He is not describing the Atman, the experiencer, which is the opposite of the experience. He is describing the totality actually. And that is what he means by consciousness. Is oneness. It is not this one who is experiencing. No. There is no separate consciousness apart from the experience. That is what he is saying. There is no other thing apart from the self. And he is saying, be of this certitude. How are you going to get the certitude? Just like I said yesterday, this kind of books, the songs, are not going to tell you how to be certain of this knowledge. It comes only by seeing directly. It comes only by experiencing directly. Very easy to experience. All that which appears is false. Experience this. All that which changes is false. What is remaining? That which is unchanging, that which is the screen of all changes, that is you. Then include that which appears in you, and that is the self. So we go through two-step process. We realize first the self as the Atman, the experiencer, and then we combine it with the experience, complete the self-realization. And you should be very, very certain of this. You cannot simply know it and read it here and there and then assume that you are the self. You will remain an ego. You will remain a body-mind if you do that. You will find yourself bound and it will appear as dissatisfaction and suffering in your life. This is the sign that you have not realized it. You simply read it somewhere. He is saying, by hearing this once, one becomes Brahman oneself. Well, don't worry, it's sometimes it happens by simply hearing. If you have the seeds of knowledge in you, you need to be reminded of this thing, and it happens. You become the Brahman. But if it does not happen, then don't worry. That means you heard this. That means you are on the path. Otherwise, you won't even hear this. This knowledge does not come across. It is not taught in your schools or colleges. Actually, people try to hide this knowledge. Actually, people are teaching you something which is exactly opposite of this. So you must be very, very lucky that you came to know that there is such a thing, that I am not this body mind. You must be very, very lucky. It's like winning a lottery, you see. So if simply by hearing it does not happen, that means you are just starting here. So don't worry, keep doing the self-inquiry. And then once you hear this, after doing the self-inquiry, you will understand what is it. So now more questions are being asked to Ribhu. Like he is asking, who are you? And he has some things which are going to be repeated. You see, I am the consciousness alone and all these things. Okay, Daniel is saying, thank you, Tarun. Always appreciate your pointers. You're most welcome. Yes. It is a pleasure to read these things. It's a pleasure to discuss the spiritual matters with other seekers. And that is the only motivation that I have. So we have a few minutes left. I'm going to read some of these, how he responds to this question, who are you? So obviously, I'm without any words to express myself. And I have no meaning. This is without meaning. I am devoid of meaning of all. Now this is something amazing, isn't it? Because some people are going to ask, what is the meaning of that then? I am nothing, I am empty, I am formless, I am eternal, I am timeless. I don't even think, don't even desire. What is the meaning of this? And here, you will find this rarely written anywhere. He says, I have no meaning. This one is without meaning. You see, the meanings and purposes, they are created by the mind. So, as soon as you give a meaning to something, you can see that it is an illusion. The meanings are also illusory. The existence or the Brahman needs no meaning or purpose to be. That is my real nature. I need no meaning to be. Being itself is the meaning. Just being is my purpose. Experiencing is my purpose. It is not being done for obtaining something. It is not being done. I do not exist to get something. That is the job of the ego. You see, the ego weighs everything. What do I get from this? What do I have for me in this? And now the ego is trying to find something in the spirituality also. That is why spirituality is not for egoic people. They don't get anything here. And so it's not attractive at all. Charlie is saying, it sums it all up. Yes, it's kind of a very profound statement, isn't it? Very, very profound, that I have no meaning. That means there is nothing here for the ego to get in this kind of realization. Actually, the ego is completely gone when you say, look, I am, but I am not for something. I am not here to do anything. I am not here to get anything, to become anything. I am not even bound. I am not here for liberation also. What does that do to the ego? Nothing to hold on. Now its claws are slipping from the slippery Brahman. Cannot hold on. And it falls down and dies. What keeps the ego alive is the meaning. What keeps this organism going is the purpose, isn't it? Why are you alive? Why are you in this world? You're getting something, isn't it? You're not here for nothing. You're getting happiness, joy, whatever, struggle. So this is, the condition of the ego, the individual or the jiv. It is here to get something, to become something, because it sees that I am incomplete. I am not happy. Let me get some happiness from here and there by hook or crook. It is trying to get things. Well, I am not eternal. Let me do everything in one day. If I cannot get this thing in 1 month and die without doing this, my life is meaningless. And this is the kind of ignorance. Can you see the ignorance goes very, very deep? It is built into the fabric of the mind actually. And that's why sometimes it takes a lot of time, even after realizing that I'm not the ego, I'm not the body mind. Even after realizing this, it continues. And that is why this concept of Videha Mukta came up, because one day it will stop. And then it wants nothing. Therefore, there is no need of a body or a world. Then it is kind of a dissolved state. It is back in its embryonic state, potential state. And this state cannot be understood by somebody who is in the world. That is why he said, not describable. So as soon as you hear these words that you have a purpose, you have a meaning, they are coming from the ego. They are not coming from the self. The self never says that I have a purpose and I have a meaning. It never says that. I am ever pure, enlightened, eternal, totally blemishless. I am of the nature of eternal perfection. I am of the nature that cannot be described. I am without beginning and without end. I am not the nature of the insentient matter. So this is the proper statement, isn't it? It can be described only in negative words, you must have noticed. Not this and not that. This is the definition. This is the description of the Brahman. You cannot say what it is, but you can always say what it is not. That which it is not is our concepts that we cooked up in our minds. That it is not. So he says, I am not of the nature of the insentient matter. So I don't know why he said that. I am without any sankalpa of my own. So yes, they do not translate this, but yes, as pointed out by one of our listeners, this means intention, will. I do not have a will. I do not have any intentions. They are all a product of the mind. The intentions appear in the mind, and the mind owes them. Oh, it is my intention. Now I need to do something. That is how it is trapped in this play of intentions and desires and wills. I am a witness of all the intentions. It is not my own, not my intention. And I am devoid of all nescience. I do not have any ignorance also. So no names, no forms, no attachment. I am the creator of all speech. I am beyond the end of all the Vedas, Vedanta. Yes, whatever is being described in Vedanta and all is just pointing. I am the end of all the times, all times. The time does not exist in me. Or you say that I do not exist in time. That will be better description. I am myself joy and nothing else. That is pure bliss. The impulses of the mind, when they are absent, is called bliss. It is the Anand. And it is my nature actually. Absence of the impulses of the mind. Absence of happiness and suffering both is bliss. So again you can define the bliss as negative word. It is an absence. It is not presence of a new state. It is not a state of the mind. So many people say that, oh, I realize myself, but I am always depressed. I am always miserable. Where can I get the bliss that is promised in this scripture and that book? So, well, it is very easy. If you do not have the happiness, if you do not have the if you realize that I am not the happiness, if you realize that I am not the suffering, that is as good as saying that I am bliss. And it is not an experience. Yes, it can appear as a peaceful state of the mind sometimes, but the mind is changing. You see, it changes into other states, which is okay. I do not change. The bliss does not change. The screen does not change. The drama has all kind of emotions. The drama that happens on the screen, it goes through all kinds of emotions, which is okay, which is fine. The happiness and suffering, they all happen on the background of the bliss. You will never find bliss in the movie, because the bliss is the screen. So here we are going to stop today. It's already 1 hour and 30 minutes. I don't want to make it more than that. It is kind of, that is the limit of any mind actually, and it is not going to be so effective if I read it all day, isn't it? It's not effective. So here we stop today, and we'll continue the Ribhu Gita tomorrow at the same time. It is around 8 o'clock in the morning, Indian time. So if you're interested, please join me again tomorrow. And thank you very much for listening.